But now we're going to go to the musical side of the world and rhythm. And how can that really tell us and take us on a different kind of Diwali journey? So just to say that we're really honored to have the wonderful musician Sameer Gupta. And of course, he is an Indian musician. He is an American musician, and he plays jazz in addition to the music from India. So he's got the world in his hands, literally. So take it away, Sameer.
Thank you, Rachel, and thank you to the Asia Society. Happy Diwali, everybody. It's a little bit early, but that's okay. It's a Diwali season. And I just want to say thank you very much for inviting us into your homes to share about Diwali. Diwali is a really important part of my growing up, and I remember it very, very vividly every year. And I wanted to share with you a couple of cool things in how the tabla connects to Diwali. And one of the big ways is that there's two gods that are sort of thanked and praised during Diwali. One is Lakshmi, and she is the goddess of good fortune. And the other one is Ganesh, or Ganesha. And some of you may know Ganesha. Ganesha has a very signature thing about them. They have an elephant head. And I wanted to show you a picture of Ganesha so you can kind of take a look and remember what Ganesha looks like. And this is a baby kind of depiction of Ganesha by a great illustrator named Sanjay Patel. Right? So that's Ganesha as a baby. And then we also have pictures of Ganesha that are a lot more kind of heavy, right? So this is Ganesha, right? And one of the things that Ganesha loved to do was play drums. And the tabla was one of his favorite drums. And I want to share with you a little bit about the language of the tabla, because one of the things Ganesha did was he wrote everything down. And so the tabla players also write a lot of their material down and a lot of their language. And so I'm going to show you a little bit of the language of the tabla. I'm going to show you how to clap and wave so that you can follow along in the cycle that I'm going to be playing. And I'm going to show you a specific composition that is supposed to sound like fireworks. All right, so we're going to try and make our way through all this. And at the end, I'm going to play for you, and hopefully you can tie it all together and have a great experience listening to this. All right, so first off, this is the tabla. This is the metal one. And this one can do a cool thing with the sound. Listen. Did you hear that? I bent the note. It was like, and then it went up. It's kind of like a scoop, right? Or like a question mark, like, right? And the reason why we can bend notes is because it's part of our voice. Our voice bends notes. And so it gives it a lot of personality and a lot of character to bend notes. And Indian classical music bends a lot of notes. It's all about bending the notes, okay? So I'm going to show you some of the words or the syllables that we have on this low drum. We go ga, ga. And you can say it too, ga. And you can go ga 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 ga. Or you could go ga 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 ga. Right? You could go gen. Gen. Right? All of those low ringing sounds are ga, okay? And then if I slap it with my palm gently, more like patting it, that's ga with a K. Ga. Ka. It could also be cut, like cutting. Cut. Okay? And those are really the main sounds on this drum. Ga, ka. On this drum, there's a lot of cool sounds. Listen. Right? This is called na. Na. It also can go ta. Okay? And we can also go di. Di. Okay? Then we do te-te. Those are all just with this hand. Te-te-te-te. Na-na-te-te. Na-na-di. Te-te-te-te na-na. Okay? So lots of combinations. And then I can put both my hands together And that's a really important bowl. A bowl is a tabla word, okay? The bowl is dha. 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 Okay? And now try to do this. Say dha. Now say nadha. Nadha. And now you can say dinnada. 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 Now, can you try and loop that and go dinnada, 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 dinnada. Watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 1. Okay? That was a 16 beat cycle, right? It was really more like a circle or a cycle, like a bicycle, right? Because it just went over and over and over. It's like a wheel that keeps spinning, right? Like a circle, okay? So the circle is a really important shape here, right? Because it just goes and goes, it goes, it rolls. It can roll a little slower, it can roll a little faster, right? But when we get to the number 1, that's called the sum, okay? And that's a very, very important beat, okay? So let's try and listen for the sum, okay? Din din nada, din din nada. That's the shape, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Din din na na, din din na. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 1, 5, 13, 14, 15, 16. 1. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 1. Okay? So the 1 is super important. And in that circle, we do all kinds of fun stuff. We'll tell stories with our tabla. We'll come up with poetry. We'll show designs and rhythmic phrases. And they'll always end up on the 1. Right? The 1 is where everything ends on our phrases, but it's also where the circle starts. Okay? So the first beat is a very, very important beat. Okay? Now, I want to share with you something about Diwali that's important. Ganesha, right? Remember Ganesha? Ganesha is someone that you say a little prayer to when you're going to start something new. Okay? When we start something new and we want to make sure that there's nothing in our way and it's easy for us to start something new, we say a little prayer to Ganesha and we ask for some good luck in that to make sure it's not too hard and we don't have too many obstacles in our way. That's why we give a prayer to Ganesha at the beginning of the year, right? It's for an auspicious new year, okay? Now, in a lot of ways, we begin new things all the time, right? Like even our day, when we wake up in the morning, it's like you're beginning something new, right? Your first day of school, you start something new. When you're starting a new job, right? If you buy a new, a new computer or a new car, those are big new things that you're doing. And so a lot of times they say a prayer to Ganesha so that there's no problems along the way. Okay? I wanted to show you one way that I like to do something new. And I don't know if you recognize, Rachel, but I had more hair yesterday. And this morning I decided to cut my hair really, really short. Because for me, that always means starting something new, right? I feel like I'm starting again and I'm starting fresh when I have my hair this short, and I really, really like it. So it always makes me feel like I'm ready to jump into something new, right? So starting something new is a big part of Diwali, and it's a big part of Ganesha, okay? So I want to start our Tabla Solo, okay? And I'm going to try and share with you some syllables along the way, okay? But I want you to just listen for a minute, okay? And let's try and follow the cycle, okay? It's going to be a 16-beat cycle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Can you do that? Clap. Clap. And now we're going to wave. Wave. Clap. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 1, 2. Good job. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 1. Good job. That's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 1, 2, 3. So this was a very old composition, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say it first, okay? Here you go. Din din te 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 ge ge te te ga di ge ne ta ki te da ne da te te ka ta da di ge ne da ka ta da te te ka ta da di ge ne da ka ta da te te ka ta ga di ge ne da ka ta da. Now listen to me play it, okay? Let's see if you remember where to clap, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now I'll say it twice as fast, okay? Din, 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 din. Gotta catch my breath. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Here we go. Din, 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 gadigina, takite da, nida, titikata gadigina da, katada, titikata gadigina da, katada, titikata gadigina da, katada. Same composition, just twice as fast. Listen. Now I'm going to share another one. Da te te, da te te, da da te te, da ge, tu na ke na, da te te, da te te, da da te te, da ge, di na ge na. This is a very old composition also from a part of India called Delhi. Delhi is the capital of India, and this is an old composition. Let's say it twice as slow. Da, te, te, da, te, te, da, da, te, te, da, ge, tu, na, ke, na, da, te, te, da, te, te, da, da, te, te, da, ge, di, na, ge, na, da, te, te, da, te, te, da, da, te, te, da, ge. Now we'll say it twice as fast. Da, te, te, da, te, te, da, da, te, te, da, ge, tu, na, ge, na, da, te, te, da, te, te, da, da, te, te, da, ge, di, na, ge, na. Now this is a fun part about tabla. Now I get to make up variations off of that theme. That's the theme, okay? Now I'll go. That was a variation. It goes like this. Then I played the theme. Now comes the challenging part, because normally when we do variations, we do a lot of variations. And we have to go twice as fast as this on the tabla. Okay, you don't have to go twice as fast. You leave it up to me, okay? Still. And then variations. And variations, right? And that is really a very exercise in the brain. You do theme after variation after variation after variation, like you're telling a story, right? Now, here's another cool thing we can do on the tabla. This is called Aurela, okay? And Aurela is supposed to sound like a rush of water, right? But they also say it could sound like a railroad, like a train on a railroad track. Okay, so you tell me what you hear. It's kind of like a drum roll. Clapping. Try and do the clapping. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. want to show you this composition with the fireworks, okay? But it's a little tricky, and I'm going to show you some sections of the composition, okay? I'm going to show you 4 sections. And each one of those little sections, the bowl is pretty easy, okay? And it's supposed to paint a little bit of a picture in your mind, okay? So the first part of the composition, when the first thing I play, I go dee-ka-dee-ka-din-da. Can you say that? Dee-ka-dee-ka-din-da. You could go dee-ka-dee-ka-din-da. Okay? And that's supposed to be like, hey, 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 come and sit. Right? Hey, 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 come on over. Right? Dee-ka-dee-ka-din-da. Right? And it goes dee-ka-dee-ka-din-da. Okay? Then the next part is to go git-ka-git-ka-din-da. Git-ka-git-ka-din-da. Git-ka-git-ka. Right? And that's supposed to be like a match. Like you're lighting a match because you're gonna light this firework. Okay? Git-ka-git-ka. Git-ka, git-ka. Git-ka, git-ka. Okay? So the first part is dee-ka, dee-ka, din. And then you go git-ka, git-ka, din. Okay? Then, if you've seen how fireworks go, they splutter and they go, and the sparks are flying off, right? So they go, taka, 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 taka. Can you say that? Taka, 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 taka. Taka, 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 taka. You gotta go fast. Tak, 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 tak. Tak, 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 tak. Okay? Tak, 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 tak. That's how that comes out on the drum. Okay? And that's supposed to sound kind of like the spluttering of the sparkles. And then it takes off. Gendaran, kran, gendadha. Can you say gendadha? Gendadha. Okay? Those are supposed to be the little sparkles that trail off after it explodes, right? So it goes tak 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 gentaran tak 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 dha kran gendada gendada gendada, right? And that last dha is supposed to land on the sum, right? The first beat of the tinta, okay? All of those designs, all of those patterns, all that stuff happens inside the 16-beat cycle, okay? So let's review, okay? Let's make sure you remember all the parts of how the firework composition goes, okay? First, you call all your friends over. Dee-ka, dee-ka, din-da. Dee-ka, dee-ka, din-da. Come, 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 sit down, okay? Then I will say, Dee-ka, dee-ka, din-da, ge-ge-na-ge, dina-da-ge-na, da-te-ke-dina, da-ge-te-ke-dina-ge-na, ge-re-na-ge-dina-ge-na, da-ge-te-ke-dina-ge-na, ga-te-ke-gita-ka. Gittika, gittika, right? That's lighting the match. Gittika, gittika. Gittika, gittika. Then the dhagatika dunakena. Okay? So from the beginning, dika, dika, din, da, geginaga, din, dhagina, datika, din, dhagatika dunakena, gerinaga, dinagina, dhagatika dunakena, gittika, gittika, din, dhagatika dunaga, tak, 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 tak. Tak, 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 tak. You try and say that. Tak, 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 tak. That's the part where it's going prrrr, and it's about to go. Tak 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 gentaran tak 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 da kran gentada gentada gentada, right? Those are the little trails at the end, okay? Now we're going to play it a couple of times, right? But I'm going to get there. I'm going to get to it, okay? Because I can't just go right in there, okay? It's hard composition, okay? So it's going to take me a minute. So you remember the clapping? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, you know, that reminds me of one thing from India, and I just want to share these things because I remember Diwali and I remember my family in India, and I haven't seen them in such a long time. But there's one cool thing that my mom showed me, and it's how they count in India up to 16 beats on one hand. Can you imagine how they would do that? I'm going to show you, okay? Show me your palm. Hold out your palm like this, and you're going to use your thumb to touch the different parts of your finger. So touch the bottom of your pinky. Yeah, where your pinky meets your palm, the bottom of it. Yeah, that's 1. Then you count up the knuckles. 1, 2, 3, and the tip is 4. Okay? Then you go to the next finger, your ring finger, your third finger. 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? Then we go to the middle finger, 9 at the bottom, 10, 11, 12. And the pointer finger, 13, 14, 15, 16. Then you go back to 1 at the bottom of your pinky, right? So remember we were talking about 16 beats in the cycle? That's a way that you can also count 16 beats, right? So when you want to count each beat on a special part of your finger, you can do it that way. And if you want to count the large cycle, you can do the clapping and the waving, right? And when I used to ask my mom math problems, she would figure out the math on one hand, just like that. So it's kind of a cool technique, okay? So try and remember that while we play this too. Okay, first let's count with our finger. Let's try. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Good. Tidikita dati dhage tu na kena tati take nada tidikita dhati dhage dina gena dhati dhage nada tidikita dhati dhage tu na kena tati take nada tidikita dhati dhage dina gena. So one more thing I want to tell you about, different parts of India have different kinds of sounds and different kinds of stories that they tell through the tabla, okay? And so my teachers have shown me different styles and compositions from where they come from, and then I have all those things in my story, right? So this last things that I was playing, they were from Delhi, okay? This next thing I'm going to play is from Punjab. Okay, and that's from North India. Da kre dhati dhage na dhati dhage tu na ke na ta kre dhati ta ke na dhati dhage di na ge na. Da kre dhati dhage na dhati dhage tu na ke dhati dhage na dhati dhage dina ge na. Dhati dhage na dhati dhage tu na ke na dina ke dhati dhage na dhati dhage tu na ke na ta dhati dhage na dhati dhage tu na ke na dina ke dhati dhage na dhati dhage tu na ke na. show you another composition from a very, very famous tabla player. His name was Terakwa. Can you say Terakwa? Terakwa. Terakwa, they say his fingers danced on the tabla and it was like lightning was striking. So that's what Terakwa is supposed to be, okay? And he was really, really special because he was one of the first tabla players who made tabla really, really popular in its own thing, right? Today we hear so many great tabla players like Zakir Hussain and so many other ones that are just out there that are, people love to listen to tabla, right? And Amijan Terakwa was one of the first people who was able to really take it to the front of the stage. So he has some cool, beautiful compositions that I'm looking forward to sharing with you, okay? And I'll say it half speed so you can just appreciate the bowl. Dati da, dati ge na tu na ke na dhati dha. Krede dhage na te, dhati ge na tu na kit takati, kit takati, kit takata, te kit takata, te kit takata, te kit takata, te kit dhati di ge na, dhati di ge na. Almost ran out of breath on that one. Here's the double time. Okay, here we go. Dati da, dati ge na tu na ke na dhati da. Krede dhage na te, dhati ge na tu na kirti, kirti, kirta, 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 dhati di ge na, dhati di ge na da. See if you can follow along with the clapping on that one. Now it's tricky, okay? Dati da, dati ge na tu na ke na dati da. Krede dhage na te, dati ge na tu na kirti, kirti, kirta, 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 dhati di ge na, dhati di ge na da. Din, din, da, da. Din, din, da, da. Din, din, da. I'll say it one more time. Dati ge na tu na ke na dati da. Krede dhage na te, dati ge na tu na kirti, kirti, kirta, 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 dhati di ge na, dhati di ge na da. Good. So I can use that same composition and come up with something of my own. Okay? So I'm going to use those same phrases and think of my own composition. Okay? Here it goes. Dati da, dati ge na tu na ke na dati da. Krede dhage na te, dati ge na tu na kirti, kirti, kirta, 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 dati di ge na, dati di ge na da. Kirti, kirta, dati di ge na, dati di ge na da. Kirti, kirta, dati di ge na, dati di ge na da. Kirti, kirta, dati di ge na, dati di ge na da. Kirti, kirta, dati di ge na, dati di ge na da. Kirti, kirta, dati di ge na, dati di ge na da. Right? And all of it is landing in the 16 beats. Now I'm just going to play a little so you can appreciate the sound. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. thing before we go to the firework, okay? Everything I've been doing is broken up into 4 beats per beat, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. But you can do 3 beats per beat. And 3, as many of you know, is a magic number, right? So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Try and see if you can say that with me. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Din nagina da, dagina dagi, gitaka dinna 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 dagi dagi dinna dagina dagi, gitaka dinna 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 dagina da, dagina dagi, gitaka dinna 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 dagi dagina dagi, gitaka dinna dinna dinna. Triplet feel, also called Tisra Jati. Tabla is a very big language, lots and lots and lots and lots of parts. So I live in Brooklyn. If you have questions, reach out to me. But I'm going to play this one final fireworks composition. Okay? So let's do a quick review of the things I asked you to remember. Dika dika dinda. That means come, come, everyone, right? Dika dika dinda. Gigi nagadina. Dagina datakadina. Dagatakadinagina. Gerinagadinagina. Dagatakadinagina. Gitakagitagadina. Gitakagitagadina. Right? Listen for that one. That's the match that you're lighting. Gitakagitagadina. Dagatakadinagina. Tak 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 tak. Tak 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 tak. Right? That's the firework about to take off. Tak 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 tak. Gendaran dagatakadinagina. Kran. Gentadha. Gentadha. That's the 3 little trailing trails, okay? Dika dika dinda. That's the first part. Dika dika dinda. And then gitaka gitaka dinda. Okay, that's lighting the match. Tak 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 tak. That's the firework going. Gendaran dagatakadinagina. Kran. Gentadha. 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 Okay? I'm going to try and say it slow. Dika dika dinda. Gigina gidina. Dagina dagina. Dage dikadina gina. Hirina gidina gina. Dage dikadina gina. Gitika gitakadina. Dage dikadina gina. Taka 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 taka. Gintarana. Dage taka taka taka. I'll do it a couple of times, see if you can catch. Dika dika dinda gigina gadina dagina datakadina dagatakadina gina gerina gadina gina dagatakadina gina gitakadina dagatakaduna gina tak 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 gendara dagatakadina da kran gentadha gentadha gentadha. Right? So remember to keep track of the thala, the cycle. Ready? Dika dika din da, gigina gadina, dagina, dadakadina, dagadakaduna gina, gedina gadina gina, dagadakaduna gina, gitakadina, dagadakaduna gina, tak 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 gendra, dagadakadina, dagadakadina da, kran, genda da, gen. Try and say those things when you hear that, if you can. Ready? Dika dika din da. That's where we're gonna start. Try and get that, okay? Right from the one, right from the sum, okay? 1, 2, here we go. Dika dika din da, 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 dika dika din da I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much. Happy Diwali to all of you. And remember, Ganesha, the elephant-headed god, is the person who is the god who removes obstacles when you start new things. And so he's a very, very important figure on Diwali, and he also happens to love the drums, okay? And there's a lot of pictures you can see of Ganesha playing the tabla or the mridangam, which is the South Indian percussion instrument. So Ganesha's my favorite because he's a drummer.
Sameer, thank you so much. Do you have a minute? Can I ask you a couple questions?
Absolutely, please.
I'm so excited about this, but I wondered, I mean, it looks so complicated and there's so much going on all in your fingers. Sometimes it seems unbelievable, but maybe you could tell us, especially all of us who are young at heart or young in age, how did you start?
That's a great question. Well, like you said, I'm American. I was born here. I was born in the US. I was born in California. I lived in New York, and I lived in the Bay Area, and I lived in Rochester, Minnesota, and a lot of parts of the country. And I grew up with concert band in high school and learning marching band and getting into jazz band. And I moved to New York as a jazz musician, and I love the jazz drummers of history like Elvin Jones and Tony Williams and Jackie Jeanette and Papa Joe Jones and all of those drummers. They really, really spoke to me. And then later in life, in my 20s, I got interested in tabla. But as you said, it looked very complicated and it looked very challenging. But I had dedicated so much of my life to music, and I really was drawn to it in a very real way. And so I took the plunge and I started practicing it. I found a teacher, local teachers that I really liked. And I've always just kind of tried to find local and very down-to-earth teachers who just want to share the music. And you know, it's very easy to get sucked into how intimidating some kinds of music are, but music is for everybody. And, you know, for tabla, as challenging as it is, it feels great to make the little bit of progress that you make at something really difficult. And it's great for my brain. It always makes me think of new things. And I learn about the language a lot. You know, I like language, I like word games, I like riddles and puzzles, and this instrument, I think, piques a lot of my interests. And so I just spent the time with it, you know, and there was like long stretches of time where I would practice for hours a day. And, you know, I wasn't able to do the 10 hours that you hear in folklore around this instrument and Indian classical music, just because this is the reality of the world we live in. But yeah, I put in the time, you know, and I really prioritized it. I practiced in the morning, I practiced in the evening and in the afternoon when I could. And I just, I learned to love the thing that was really, really difficult to do. And that's what I stuck with this instrument.
I mean, one of the things that's so exciting to me is that, in fact, the tabla has been a part of American music in one way or another for a very long time. And I've been reading a lot about jazz and even hip hop and artists who learn from this kind of understanding of rhythm. So the understanding that it is indeed originally from India, but that it has a very real and deep root in America. So our American music includes the tabla.
Definitely. I mean, I think that America, like, it's a melting pot, right? So even if you look at the Beatles, right, they got so into Indian music. George Harrison, of course, was a big way in, but that they brought the tabla into there. They brought the sitar into their albums. And, you know, even all kinds of European Western music, especially rock and jazz and, you know, non-European classical forms, have really opened their doors to Indian classical sounds. You hear it in Rolling Stone songs and Led Zeppelin songs, Pink Floyd songs. So many songs draw influences from India. And it comes from, you know, when it comes from a really genuine place with a place of real respect, it ends up translating beautifully. And I think that always is like my favorite music to listen to. Yeah.
So one last question, which is, you know, so many kids listen to rap or different sounds that use rhythm through the voice. And you gave us some really wonderful examples that helped us understand that the rhythms and the drum can also be vocalized. And vocal music is something that's available to all of us, or most of us. So I'm just wondering, before we sign off, if you could give us one last tutorial, little teaching about with that vocalization so that we can try it out.
Definitely. I would say that the funnest thing, the thing I show my kids, is to do the groove of Teen Tal, right? Which basically started with saying dha. So say dha, and then say na dha, and then din na da, and then add one more din na da, din na da. Right? And so if you can loop that, and that last da is actually the one. So din na da, din na da, din na da, din na da, din na da. Right? This is just walking down the road, right? Din na da, din na da, din na da, din na na, din na da, din na da, din na. I'm walking down the street in Brooklyn. Da, din, na, da, din, na, da. Right? So really, like you're saying, Rachel, language, and you have to get into the flow of how your voice can also be a drum, right? It can also be a percussive and a rhythmic instrument. And so much of Indian classical music and Indian classical dance, even what you're going to see next, there's a lot of vocalizing and there's a lot of connection between the tabla and the dance forms in India. Not just tabla, but drums and dance forms in India. It's also very regional, but I'm excited to have you all hear Parul now explore some dance with you.
Yes, so and of course the dance form that she does really uses rhythm very much, as well as storytelling. I mean, tabla also has storytelling, as you've so brilliantly shown us with the fireworks. So I'm thinking that, you know, Diwali and the marathon means that here in New York, we're going to be seeing fireworks. So I hope that all the kids will now remember what they should say. Can you tell us one more time before we sign off? For the fireworks.
Oh, okay.
So remember what we should say when we see a fireworks.
Yeah. One was Dika Dika Dinda. Dika Dika Dinda. It's like, come on, Dika Dika Dinda. Then Gita Kadina. That's the light the match. And then tak 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 tak. Tak 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 tak. Gentaran da. Kran Gendada. 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 Okay, here I'm gonna play.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel.
And I look forward to seeing you. Happy Diwali.
Happy
And
Diwali to you, and happy Diwali to all our friends. Thank you.
thank you so much.